It'd be phenomenally expensive, and it is very disruptive to people and businesses in the area. It would be better to do it elsewhere.
That's New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg listing just a few of the reasons why 9/11 mastermind Khalid Sheikh Mohammed almost certainly will not be tried in Lower Manhattan. And we're back now with our Sunday group. Bill, it hasn't been an official announcement, but it's everybody knows it's not going to be a trial in downtown New York. How big an embarrassment is this for the administration?
It's an embarrassment for Eric Holder. President Obama gave the Justice Department the lead. He did this without consulting with or without taking advice, I would say, from national security types, as he has done in other areas. And it's not going to happen in New York. And they're going to have to retreat, in my view, on the whole thing. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and his fellow terrorists are going to be tried by a military commission in Guantanamo Bay Naval Base, I believe.
Really?
Absolutely. But you can't really justify a civil trial elsewhere either. It's going to turn out. Other places aren't going to take it. Congress is not going to appropriate, as we just heard from Evan Bayh, I don't believe, $200 million to do this. Evan Bayh said it well. We want to have do it safely, quickly, and inexpensively. Camp Justice at Guantanamo Bay is set up to do that. There is no rational. The Obama administration says military tribunals are fine. They're trying other people there. Why not try KSM there? They're going to do that. By the end of this year, he'll be being tried by a military commission at Guantanamo Bay.
You know what? There's ways to try him elsewhere not for $200 million that are not Guantanamo Bay. I mean, the mayor of Newburgh, New York, where there's an Air Force base that would be perfectly secure, it wouldn't cost $200 million to try him there. Mayor Bloomberg switched his opinion. This was not done on ideological grounds or because he thought that he shouldn't be tried in a civilian court. It was the cost, it was the security. Once everybody understood what was going to happen to Lower Manhattan, they changed their mind. So it wasn't ideological. But there are other places that want this trial to happen in their communities. Either they have an Army base or an Air Force base or some secure prison. And I think it could happen even in the Southern District of New York, which is where the best terrorism prosecutors are, and there's a reason why you want to have it in there. Newburgh, New York is in that district.
But that's ridiculous.
Charles, let me ask you a question that I asked our preceding group, our blue ribbon panel, as opposed to you guys who were, a yellow ribbon panel or something like that. It was Eric Holder, the Attorney General, who made these calls. One, to hold the trials in New York City. Two, either he or somebody in the Justice Department, but it's under him, to charge, or rather to read Abdul Muttalib his Miranda rights after only 50 minutes of FBI interrogation. Is he in trouble? Should he be in trouble?
Well, he's close with the president, and I think that will count. But it shouldn't. I mean, he's made terrible mistakes on the fundamental issues in the war on terror. Interrogation of someone who's attempting an attack on the United States, who came out of Yemen, who knows all about what, presumably who knows something about what's happening in Yemen, which is the most active al-Qaeda cell in the world, who gets essentially a pass on giving us any information. That is a terrible mistake. Apparently his department made it unilaterally. And the trial of KSM is a shambles. I don't understand why it takes 3 months for anybody to understand it's going to be costly. It will lock down half of New York. And it makes no sense in principle because it gives KSM, the rights of cross-examination, which risk betraying intelligence sources and methods. He made all these decisions. He's got to go.
This is so political an attack. I don't even know where to begin. It seems to me incredible that at a time when we have, I think it's 348, maybe 350 domestic and international terrorists in American jails, and most of these jailed under the Bush administration, all of a sudden here the right wing is saying, oh, this is really about whether or not these people should be put in military courts. Why are they being allowed to have Miranda rights and tried in criminal courts? We convict terrorists all the time. So what's happening here is a shift, and it's part of the shift now, is to attack Holder. This is totally unfair and unjustified, but it's a political argument. It's trying to make national security into a political weapon against the Obama administration with absolutely no justification.
This is ludicrous.
Charles?
If it's a political argument, why is it that we saw this morning in the questioning of the congressman, Democrats are running away from any idea.
Not from civilian trials.
From KSM in New York, and
yes,
they all are saying
they are going to run away from civilian trials.
That you don't, on Miranda rights, the Democrats are scared to death of defending the Miranda rights.
No, anybody can defend Miranda rights.
Let me say something. You said we're politicizing that. I supported the president on Afghanistan. I support him on Iraq. I have no problem with Bob Gates as Secretary of Defense. I don't have much problem with Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State. I don't have much problem with Leon Panetta as CIA Director. It is just unfair to say if we think Eric Holder is doing a bad job, that we have some... He is doing a bad job. He's been an incompetent Attorney General. He's been an incompetent Attorney General.
That he's been incompetent. You're simply saying you disagree with the idea that the civilian courts could handle Abdul Muttalib. And that obviously...
You defend the decision. You defend the decision not to let... You defend the decision. You defend the decision not to let the CIA know that Abdul Muttalib was in Detroit.
I think that they should have let everybody know. And when we see a list of administration top officials, including the Homeland Security Director, Dennis Blair, Director of Intelligence, saying he was unaware, that to me is wrong. But it's also the case that they did not understand that this man was not a lone wolf, that he was in fact tied into Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. So once they did, then steps were taken.
But Juan, how could you not understand that?
Oh, please, come on.
Wait, let Charles, and then you can...
You arrest a guy who's got a bomb in his underpants. You know, it's likely he didn't do it at home in his kitchen.
It's not. Let me just say...
And the guy is a Nigerian. You've got to assume... You have to assume that he has people who are working with him.
Because he's a Nigerian.
Why do you assume otherwise? It makes no sense at all. You capture a terrorist. In almost all of our plots, there are groups of terrorists. Why would you assume he's acting alone and not interrogate him to the point where you would learn otherwise?
Let me break the news to you, Charles. We have made such progress in terms of breaking down Al-Qaeda, in terms of getting them, in terms of their structure, to malfunction, that there are now more lone wolves, and it's tougher to capture and know exactly the extent of knowledge that they have at any one moment. There was no evidence that this man, on the face of it, on that day, had come from an Al-Qaeda training camp.
He told them immediately.
He told them. He told them.
From Yemen.
It's worse than that. There was evidence in the files. In fact, if they had alerted the CIA, they had intercepts with his name.
Correct.
Remember, his father had gone to the embassy. If you are a responsible person, you immediately let the CIA and other intelligence agencies know. And you say, what do you know about this guy? You don't Mirandize him.
The President of the United States himself said there was a systemic failure in terms of intelligence gathering.
And who is accountable for that failure?
Okay, so Eric Holder is now is accountable for all intelligence failures, including intelligence failures by the British and everybody else who didn't understand what Abdul Muttalib was up to. That seems to me to make you into someone who's just trying to politicize this to beat up the Obama administration and get rid of Eric Holder.
One fact I want to add.
You know what? Hold that for Panel Plus. A great tease. I'm glad we settled that. No, we're going to continue this discussion on Panel Plus. We'll see you all next week.